Gino, you talked yesterday about this being a litmus test for your team with so many new pieces and new roles. So what did you learn about your team today?
That's funny because that's a question I asked in the locker room. You know, I asked, so what did we learn, you know, about ourselves tonight? And I think Nika said it best probably. You know, she said, I think we learned that we could be really, really good and we could be really, really bad. And that's probably it in a nutshell. You know, when we were good, we were really, really good. And when we were not good, we were not good at all. And for the second game of the year, you know, I didn't expect us to be in mid-season form, but we found a way to win the game in spite of whatever it is that we didn't do or whatever foul trouble we got in or whatever mistakes we made. And I've said this a lot over the years. You know, when two really good teams play against each other, it usually comes down to one team has one guy that just takes over the game and wins it for them, and that's what AZ did for us. Now, obviously, she didn't do it single-handedly by herself. She had a lot of help, but, you know, that's going forward, you know, that's the kind of performance you need from, you know, that was an All-American performance today. That's like Player of the Year performance there tonight, you know. I don't know that we can count on that every single night, so we're gonna have to, you know, fix a couple things, but it's pretty impressive tonight, I thought.
Did you say something to her at the half? Because she did score 22 of them in the second half. Did you just ask her to shoot the ball more, or did she just naturally kind of take over?
I mean, your guess is as good as mine. I'm just always after her to shoot more, you know, to not pass up any shots, to be more aggressive with the ball. And, you know, I don't care if she takes 20, 30, 40 shots. I don't care, as long as they're good shots and as long as she's, you know, being aggressive. And she gets a little tentative sometimes. And I think she was a little bit tentative in that first half. And I think in the second half, you know, she was the AZ that, you know, we all expected when we recruited her. There aren't very many players like her in the country, that's for sure.
You know, she took over like great players will, obviously, but for long stretches, it didn't look like a team that she's necessarily going to have to pull along or carry. I'm wondering what you think of the different ways a lot of your other players impacted the game, particularly early.
Yeah, well, I agree with Nika. When we were in some kind of flow, you know, it looked like a lot of people were getting a chance offensively, and when we were not, we were stagnant, and we were all watching AZ play one-on-one. You know, Lou played in foul trouble seemed like the whole game, and still did, you know, a lot that we would think is going to get even better. Aubrey came in and played, I think she played the whole second half, and gave us some great minutes. So those two in particular, you know, Nika and Dorka, you know, Nika had to play 35 minutes. Dorka, I think, played all 40. And they had their hands full, both of them. I mean, everyone contributed a little bit. You know, I thought Aaliyah was not good at all in the whole first half, and I thought she was pretty good in the second half. So everybody did a little bit to help the cause. That's what good teams are supposed to do, right? That's how we got up 17. And then, you know, the next step is how do you go from there to the next level? And that's going to take some time, probably.
Do you know, you said the other day that coming back, Aubrey was going to have to be even better than she was originally to fit in with this team. The way she came in today and just affected the game immediately, hit a three, like kind of changed the pace of the game a little bit. And when you had like a nice little run in the second quarter, like, do you think she is doing that? Do you think that she's better than before? And how did she affect the game today?
Yeah, Aubrey's big thing has always been, having a certain belief in herself that this is what I do, this is who I am, and not questioning her abilities. And more, for her to take that three as soon as she got into the game and make it, I think that's a sign that she's more comfortable with herself. There's still a lot more that I expect that she can do, but she could be a great energizer coming off the bench. We can use her a lot of different ways defensively, and I think offensively, she's going to find her role, whatever that is. Some nights it's knock down, stand still threes. Some nights it's get to the basket and take advantage of the pressure. But Aubrey, there's never been a question about can she do it. It's can she hold on to the belief that she can do it, and hopefully that's the next step that she's taking.
Hey coach, it's T. Baker with the Next over here. Just want to reflect on Swin Cash's number retirement and in particular that 2002 class. We had Tamika, Asia, Swin, Sue. What made that group so special, not just for what they did on the court, but off the court?
Well, there was something different about them while we were recruiting them, and they recruited each other. So they already had a connection when they got here. And they were very, very selfless when they got here. They didn't care about anything other than winning. Swin cared about starting. Swin cared about scoring points, getting rebounds, making a name for herself, putting herself on the map. And she did all those things. But for the most part, that class lived up to all the expectations that we all had of them, because all they cared about was winning. They were competitive, they were tough, they were great leaders in their own right. When I said that I would love to be able to look down the bench and see Swin and put her in. Sorry, after the game, I said, I told you might have had a chance to play. She goes, nah, but Asia wants to talk to you about your post defense. So they never stop coaching. They never stop, loving our program and caring about our program, and they're always around. And what they did while they were here for 4 years was one thing, and what they've done since leaving, pretty amazing. Pretty amazing.
Gino, can you assess the few minutes you were able to get Caroline, and also Nika played 37 minutes with a lot on her plate, and just assess, her performance tonight?
Yeah. I wasn't sure how many minutes Caroline would be able to get. She's only had 2 days of practice in the last 2 weeks, pretty much, yesterday and the day before, and so I didn't know how long she'd be able to go, and it's just going to get better, each time that she gets a chance to practice. Nika's made a lot of progress, right? She's matured a lot. She's grown up a lot. She's taken things to heart, even more so than she did, which she already did. She's taking more responsibility for everything, which is great. But we got it 12-point lead or whatever, and she just couldn't help herself because it had been maybe 10, 15 minutes before she punched anybody, so she had to run up and whack a kid, setting a illegal screen just for the hell of it, because She just felt like she needed that. I don't know what it is, but so she's come a long way. She used to do 4 or 5 of those a game. She only did 1 today. But other than AZ, there's probably more pressure on Nika this year for us than any other player on our team. You know, those are 2 players that we can't replace. You know, and I wouldn't trade her. You know, I wouldn't trade her for anybody. Today.
Gina, 2-part question. The free throw shooting on both teams was
Horrible.
horrific.
Horrific. You know, there's a reason they're called free throws.
Apparently not tonight.
Not tonight.
Was there just an aberration that no one could hit a free throw tonight? And the second part, just you always talk about playing a tough schedule, and does it help this team more with so many new sort of pieces trying to fit in? And I know you didn't make the schedule with this group of mine because obviously Paige was supposed to be part of it and such, but how much will this help you playing so many good teams with this group to get them ready for when the games really count for you at the end of the year?
Yeah, I was ranting and raving when I went in the locker room, you know, and the coaches made a point, you know, to bring up, you know, it's our second game of the year. You know, did you really expect us to look like we were mid-season form? You know, we have a lot of stuff on film that we can show them. These are great moments for them to learn, and all true, all true. We did more things wrong probably tonight than we did right for what we think we should have been able to do, and we still got up 17. And then, you know, went from 17 to 7 or 8 or 9, whatever it was. So if we can find a way to do what we did and still win the game, that's a pretty good sign going forward. Because we're only going to get better at those things we didn't do great tonight. And we could have easily, you know, those free throws, the fouls, and everything could have gone the other way, and we'd have chalked it up to like, hey, we're not ready. But you'd rather learn by winning than losing.
Coach, AZ Fun, I know we've talked about her a lot, but you know, she has an elite ability to score at every level of the floor, and the Texas coach even singled out her mid-range game specifically. Can you just speak to her ability to make shots on every area of the floor?
Yeah. Well, when you're such a you know, prolific three-point shooter like she is, and it's not just stand there and make threes, it's the way she gets them and how quickly she gets them off. And they're always under pressure, it seems like. But people have not seen that side of her where she can get to the basket and has a way to finish, even in traffic. And I think every great player should understand this, because she's such a great three-point shooter, it's almost imperative that she have a great mid-range game. Because if you don't, people just run you off the line and then you have nothing. So when you're playing against her, you got to make a decision. What do I want to give up? And mostly it's going to be, I don't want to give up the threes. So I know she's not going to get 15 of them every game like she did that one game. But we try to get her close to 10 at least every night. But the pull-ups are what really kill teams. Because teams are willing to live with that shot. But not if you make, you know, 7 or 8 in a row. They're still killers, you know. She's a complete basketball player. You saw how much she handled the ball. Okay? She had to bring the ball up. You saw, you know, the fact that defensively, how hard she had to work. So there's a lot on her. And I think she was a little bit naive at the beginning of the season when I said, you know, I know you expected to play with Paige. And it didn't happen much last year. And now here it is, and you're not going to play with her at all. So you have to be a little bit of you and a little bit of her. She goes, that's a lot, Coach. I said, yeah. She said, but it's not something I can't handle. Well, she's starting to find out now that's going to be a bitch to handle that. But if you're as good as she is, you live for those moments, right? So, you know, if anybody had any doubts, right, she became first team All-American. I don't know how many players are capable of doing what she did tonight. It was like an NBA performance, really.
You know, you touched on it a little bit, just the pressure on, you know, AZ this season. Just how do you think she responded to that, especially in that fourth, you know, scoring 17 of you guys' 20 points to end the game?
I was only 17 out of 20 that she scored of ours. I thought she had 21 out of her 20. When I say like it's an NBA performance, it's like, you know, you watch an NBA game and all of a sudden one player starts getting off and the basket looks like it's a swimming pool, you know, and you just keep going to them, just keep going to them, keep going to them. And I don't know that it'll be like that every game, but it takes a special kind of person to be able to handle knowing that we're coming to you that often and that we need you to make those. She's a special kind of player, you know. She has skills that the average player doesn't have, and she put them on display today.
Gino, this being the first of many high-profile, difficult challenges, a lot of them early for this team, to win this game, how much is this just kind of like a deep breath, take it easy moment for a lot of players who are just wondering what could become of this team, what could become of this season?
And what they say, they're excited about it, I think. I think they love the fact that we're playing this kind of schedule. I think they really relish these kind of games. You know, it's hard to come back from a loss and, you know, be told, hey, we're really good, because you start questioning, are we? But when you win a game like today, you can really go after them tomorrow or the next day at practice, and they understand why. But it's coming after a win, so there's good vibes. You know, they feel good about themselves, and they're more apt to understand. Okay, you can't get away playing like this every night against good teams, but we're also not going to be like this every night. We're going to get better every day. So they should feel pretty good about themselves. And if they're mature, they can look at it and see, you know, and Nika was very mature about it. We have a lot of work to do, but we're pretty good when we're good. And tonight when we had to be good, we were really good.